Good morning, great and glorious human beings. I'm Copeland with Rising Tide here, ready for our episode 12 of By the Runbook with Mendy and Connor. Today we are going through 2.204, picking up about halfway through. Maybe we'll finish it today. We'll see how the guys are feeling. Per all of our other conversations, you guys can follow along with haloreleases.remy. Oh God, what is it? Dev, normally have it in front of me. We'll drop the notes down there later. Or just check out your Halo account and follow along. So without further ado, let's bring on the guys. Connor's a little under the weather today, but
I'm feeling
hopefully
ropey. I'm feeling like my throat's getting tighter by the minute, but we'll push through because of this mission critical Halo release notes by the Runbook episode. We're here.
Connor, we appreciate you, man.
Just turning up for everyone.
All right.
We want you doing most of the talking this time.
That's how you do it. You just work it out.
You have to work through it. Walk it off. Same idea.
Shake it off.
I'll work it through. I've taken some paracetamol. Our mini violin will come out at times, but we'll get through it. We'll be fine.
It'll be good. So, per usual, everyone, drop questions or comments down in the chat. We'll put the ID number for the feature that we're talking about. But if you've got anything, let the guys know, and we'll make sure we share it. Back to you.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Connor.
Hey, Mendy.
Wow, you are really feeling down. Like you got that like, hey.
I'm so pathetic is the problem. Like I'm not even joking. Like I'm just literally pathetic.
All right. I'll do all the talking. It's fine. You can.
We'll get through it. Let's start. Where are we starting? 998.146. That's where we're starting, which is
998.146. Yes.
I've not even read it, which is dangerous.
To the agent details, which initially will only be used to ensure that the holiday allowance calculations are correct. So I think we were the ones who stumbled into this bug with one of my clients, where they do the PTO tracking, holiday tracking fairly heavily, and they're obviously in a different time zone than the UK. I think they're in Central or Mountain Time or something like that, probably Central. And they were seeing like some odd day calculation happening because the time zone was splitting middle of the day. So this setting on the agent level will allow you to actually configure what time zone each agent is in, so that when you're setting their total allowed hours, let's see if I can find it on the screen, and then I'll show.
So I spoke to Tim about this recently because I'm confused by this. Because when you have default working hours, you can set a time zone at the SQL to work it out is mental, but you can set a time zone at default working hours to track back.
That time zone is only for resource booking. Did you read?
Well, what they could have done is use the same time zone for holiday allowance.
If they had people who worked at Halo that actually talked to each other.
That's the fucking problem. Yeah, I remember now. There was a reason why they've done it. Yeah.
The time zone is only used for resource booking.
Yeah,
and overrides the global time zone setting, which is silly, right? It's completely silly. They should have just done it. They should have just used this time zone setting and then not bothered with the agent
That
setting.
was my reaction.
And on top of that, this is using holiday allowance, but it doesn't touch resource booking at all.
Yes. So and it stores it in a different table as well. It's actually easier to report on this, by the way, like way easier. Like I was happy for this because to work out the time zone from the other the SQL is grim.
You're gonna hate my feature requests then.
I can't wait. Let's move on. Although interestingly, just go back to the. I realized this recently, and as a seasoned consultant, I'm madly embarrassed. Did you know it's impossible in Halo to really properly handle night shifts? Like I didn't realize this until recently, but Halo works on like a 24-hour clock, right? But what you can't do is span days, like at all. So there is no way at all you can do it. If I work Monday at 5 p.m. and I finish at 5 a.m. on Tuesday, and then on Tuesday I start again at 7 p.m., you can't do that in Halo. You can only have one time starting or ending on a Tuesday. It is impossible to do night shifts in HaloPSA.
You can't end before you start.
Can't end before. Wow, you just can't have two of the same days. You can't have two Wednesday end and start time on a Wednesday.
Is this even when you have shifts enabled, which I haven't looked at doing?
I don't know.
Do you know how shifts work? Because I don't.
Not really. Not I've.
I know that they exist.
Start with, and then they added some stuff, and I'm like, what are that?
Enable shifts, enable team shifts, and you can essentially set up like different shift types, and you can also change the clocking to be like, here's an on-call shift type that overrides the calendar, what the status is, or whatever.
Can we do time in here?
1 second, wait, I lost where I was, so I'll go back to it for a moment because of Haloisms.
If they can do it, my lovely context at Halo didn't. Oh, that's
enable clocking into and out of shifts. It's exactly what you're looking for. So you'd set up your shifts to be that span, and then you clock in and out of that shift at that point.
Maybe if we can do that. Yeah.
I was not giving you.
I mean, this is brand new. Is clocking in and out, isn't it? So maybe now we can do it, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it still won't work.
Shifts has been around for a while, but they've been adding features to it for a bit, and I've never really understood exactly how to use it. I've seen it in use on one client. I don't know if they are actively like still using it. It's a lot of manual work because you have to have the manager essentially create and manage the shifts. So it's a lot of.
I've never needed it. Is the reality of it, right? But yeah, we'll see.
Exactly.
The hack, by the way, is you just do like the hours in a different time zone. That's 12 hours offset, so you can actually hack it backwards. So 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you could do in your time zone. But if you 12 hours offset it, then it works backward. It was not particularly pleasant. But that's for another day to go through.
Hey guys, this is where the setting is. Keep in mind that it's just for the allowance tracking, which is down here, holiday allowance per year, number of days. So this will tell you like when the day starts and stops according to that time zone, right? When's midnight start, basically. So that's what that's used for. That's what that setting is, and that's what that release note does.
They should make it a meme, you know. Every time they add a new time zone thing, make it a new drop down. Like
time zones are so complicated, like just by themselves in programming, and then the way it's done here just makes it like even worse because you have to account for what time zone is your browser in. Like it looks at the locale. You also have to account for like what time zone is it stored as, which hopefully, generally speaking, is UTC, but not always. And then you have to account for like what time zone is it presenting to you as on the actual like report or whatever it is you're looking at in order to understand like what the real thing is. But in any case,
PTSD from time zone with Halo. So let's move on to the next thing, which hopefully isn't time zones.
Various embeddable chat widget API improvements. So we can actually embed your chat in a widget. And now that there's they've added API improvements to that widget that you can have chat. So you can put the chat on like your website or whatever. And so then you can override your greeting styles or have an inbound event to update the greeting message style if you want to, or added an outbound event, which is sent when feedback is received after the chat has ended, which is interesting. And then you can add a function to get the chat window's current open close state and position override. And so that way you can figure out like where on the screen it is. Not really sure who asked for that or what they're doing, but it sounds pretty interesting. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if it's the Halo CRM team doing this.
Maybe. Probably.
Because that's a big use case for it. We don't see live chat very typically in MSPs or really internal IT, but in the Halo CRM space, that void that's trying to fill, I could see that. But they're putting a lot of love into live chat recently, and I don't really know why. But there's clearly a reason, and I'm happy for featuring.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like live chat is one of those things that MSPs like strive to have, like they want to do, but they just don't know how to get there. I feel like that's like the gold standard, like their ideal thing is go to our website and you chat with an agent and we help you out over chat and like that's it. You know, like that's the thing that they always like want to have happen because it's cool. And then of course like there are platforms like Thread, you know, that actually do a fairly decent job of like tying chat from
multiple stream aggregation. Yeah.
But
various improvement to SAF management.
What is SAF? Do you know?
I was going to say that's hard for me to understand what's been improved when I have no idea what the hell SAF is. Asset tags now have a setting for is portfolio and is like business like application instance.
Isn't there like there's integration for it? For it's like an abbreviation of like a enterprise level. What is it called? I like the name is slipping my mind.
What in the world? I don't think it's the first Google hit, which is sustainable aviation fuel. But if it is that, then that's quite exciting. I can't even find. Oh, the SAF framework. I don't know what it is. Is anyone in the chat? Anyone watching this know what
Oh, I'm thinking of
SAF
SAP
management is? Have you found it?
No, I didn't find it.
No. Okay. Well, if anyone knows what this thing is, what these words mean, you can do the next Barley Runbook and educate everyone with an
Asset
open
types now have setting
invitation.
for is portfolio and is business application instance.
It's
Assets
a
have an owning
world.
portfolio field and an owning CI field. The owning CI field shows both asset types, certain business application instance. Well, I have an idea. We live in the age of AI. I'm just going to copy this entire release note and ask it, what is the
Secure
content?
application framework, Jakob says. I mean, yeah. Asset types. Let me go to asset types. You can't see this. I'm not showing right now. I'm just poking around. I was about to move on, but Mendy's intrigued by it. So
I am. I'm not
we'll
moving on yet.
I guess we'll go down this rabbit hole then now.
Service architecture framework. So that was close. It's service architecture framework, especially services, applications, portfolios, and assets. Where you can basically tie. What does the CI stand for?
I don't even know where they've added this thing. I've closed my Halo off. Probably for the best.
Okay, so if we go to, let's share this tab instead. We go to asset management, and we go to asset types, and we go into an asset type specifically. We should have a section for.
I couldn't find it in here.
Is portfolio and is business application. Under.
Doesn't say.
Portfolio.
It's not in a field list. It's in layout. Has owning portfolio tab.
Owning CI tab. There you go. Custom field software. Interesting. That's for the tab where it goes.
I can't find anything else. You get a feeling like one person in the world needed this thing and they're going to use it and nobody else is ever going to touch this again.
This falls into like the topology of the asset management. That's what it sounds like, and which assets rely on what services. And so that you can build like a fail chain, essentially, for the assets. That's what it sounds like.
I'm
probably one of those things.
Asset relationship status, but yeah, let's move on. Else we'll spend an hour chatting about
something
we are not qualifying to chat about.
I'm gonna figure that out, and we're gonna come back to that one day on a video.
You have super fun. I'm going to ignore it.
Introducing stable user matching when importing assets. This will be enabled by default to align with current functionality. Add the ability to filter. Oh, that's so dumb.
Just share your release notes, honey.
That is so dumb.
What's this?
I don't know. Not how it was supposed to come out. Okay, here's the backstory of this, Connor. If you have a client who has both 365 and Google for some reason, and they both have the same user on both platforms with two different email addresses, the Google integration would match automatically by username and would essentially steal the user from 365, even though the email address doesn't match. This is a guaranteed behavior. This is what happens. And so we reported this, asking them to add the exact same matching options that 365 has, where you can say choose match on username, match on email address, match on network address, right? Like the same exact options that 365 we asked for inside of Google. And this seems like their answer, which is not helpful because this is either both on or both off. You cannot individually select to only match on email address and don't match on username, which is what we were hoping to achieve.
I will let you go and have that battle.
That is something that's going to be lots of fun. Now we have to filter assets on site. The following filters can be configured per site mapping status device. Okay, so we can basically say assets of these filters fall into that site, and assets of another set of filters fall into a different site. That's cool, but this top part is ridiculous and needs to be changed like a lot. We need to screenshot this part.
I wish they had some like consistency with
I wish that they would have all their team like trained on how Halo works in other areas, so that they can know like, oh, this is how it already works. Let's just make it work the same way.
That's too hard, man. That would be like, I wish every integration was the same as Pax8. Like, that to me is like
That'd be awesome.
the gold standard of integrations, but nothing else works like
I feel
that.
like we're gonna have a different conversation about how to build platforms in a moment. So let's just move on. Adding a ticket setting to show the department a team belongs to. The department a team belongs to when assigning or reassigning. This can be found with the setting for how team and agents are presented when reassigning configuration tickets to general settings. Interesting. When viewing team and agent as separate dropdowns, the department will show under each team. Cool. I guess that's something
If you need
want.
it.
Yeah.
I feel in our space we don't typically get into the weeds too much of departments.
Probably like larger MSPs probably have that, but I mean, just name your teams better.
That's my mindset. FAQ lists now showing the portal URL when navigating through the knowledge base.
Okay, cool. Moving on.
You're like
Slack
that.
notifications. What?
You use knowledge base, don't you?
I do use knowledge base in our portal. But I don't know that that's like super important for me to have.
I don't think so either. Slack notifications can now be triggered by CRM Note updates, site updates, and specific agent notifications.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Cool. Added agent team mappings to the Microsoft Entra ID. The agent role mapping into agent.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Group specific team. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
I currently use roles in Halo to do that. We create 2 types of roles.
I would use roles as well, actually. I don't even know why I'd need this. I don't care. I just have the role with the teams assigned, right?
Exactly. That's what I do. Yeah. I'm guessing someone just like, I don't want to do that, or like we don't want to drive based off roles, or they didn't realize that they could do that, and they just did it this way. One of the things that you could do though is, because you technically have a limit in Halo about how many roles you should have assigned to an agent. It's not a real limit. You can go more than that, but you'll get a warning if you have more than 10 roles assigned to a single agent. And so this would be a way to get them into the teams without having all those roles assigned potentially.
I'm a big believer in like 1 role per person, you know. That's the way I try and build.
No, I don't do that. I'm very much opposite. We get very granular and modular with our framework for like manageability purposes. It's so much easier.
Yeah, I'm like, split up your roles, have more roles.
But
I like that. That works for me. Because it gets really confusing having to go through 5 different roles to understand the hierarchy. You can see what's applied, but then you end up like fighting so many roles.
But we basically have each role applies a certain level of permission, and they don't ever like overlap. And so you get the base level, and then you stack them. So they're
I think that's great when you initially build them. It's when they change over time, you could get really confused as to the hierarchy.
So it's actually part of our onboarding process. When we go through with a new client, we actually take them through what the matrix kind of looks like and why to do it that way. And we're very strict in ensuring that that structure is utilized so that it's easy to manage and not confusing. But yeah, that's like a whole other video we can go down with the 2 of us.
It'd be good actually if you could build a role with a section rather than having every option there. If you could pick service desk, right, and then
that's what we do.
Just,
that's literally what we do.
You do that with impact. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, curious. Yeah, I don't have the effort for that.
And so then we have separate roles that assign the team. So we don't do this. We don't ever assign team permissions. Yes, we don't assign team permissions in the same role, because you could have 3 or 4 different teams, right, that all have the same permission. So we're not going to do that. We're going to give you 1 permission set, which is service desk, and then you'll have the 3 different roles for the 3 different teams that you get. And that way we're managing, like that's why I said management is much easier that way. So we do lean into the multiple role cascading functionality significantly.
I like singular. Keep it simple in my little tiny brain. Both have the same outcome for anyone watching, by the way. So moving down to the next one, the change management field impact and risk can now be used in
risk score calculations.
What the hell is
Remember what risk score calculations are, Connor? No. We talked about it like 5 or 6 videos ago. It's a brand new feature that came out, and we never actually played with it.
I haven't played with it since.
Yeah, it's on our list of things to get to.
Yeah.
But if you're using risk score calculations, then it can now take into consideration the risk and impact score fields to determine what that risk score should be based off of their respective values. If that makes sense.
I'm almost confused that impact and risk weren't already in risk score calculations. Like, how was it done before?
So what you can do is, based off what it's saying, if we go to the lookup table, for example, or sorry, the advanced and then lookup codes.
Just trying to work backwards and release notes to refresh my old dome on it.
Where the heck did it go? Here. Within the lookup, so we can potentially on what's saying. It's saying the impact. So we're looking at the impact fields. We can actually set a risk score directly inside of the lookup, right? So that way we can essentially identify or adjust the calculation of the risk based off of that field or being selected, based off that value being selected at that point. By the way, if you have an unknown impact, just delete it, because like that's not supposed to be there. If you have an older Halo with an unknown impact, just get rid of it.
Oh, it used to be custom field risk. Some risk score of all single select custom fields was the risk calculation type.
So now it's using the native functionality to be able to do that.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Okay, fair. I might look at it one day. Probably won't, but if I need it, it's there. I just never needed it. I just don't. I never needed risk scoring. Do I need that? I don't know.
It's more like in change management, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll play with it at some point. That's what happens in this world of Halo. At some point, we'll have a problem and we'll go, how do we solve that best? And we'll go, oh, I remember talking about risk scoring. Moving down.
Ticket setting that when enabled, the can edit advanced ticket details permission is required to bulk change ticket priority. So, you know, you can multi-select tickets and bulk change stuff. Like you can bulk add hold, you can bulk add note or whatever. So you can bulk change priority, and now you can enforce that in order to do that, you have to have the can edit advanced ticket details permission on the agent level, which is either agent or role at that point.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I like that.
Charge rates types can now be ordered by a sequence number set on the charge rate type setup, which is like very frustrating because I literally just finished, like before this came out to stable, I had just finished one of the things we did in the project is reorganizing charge rates to go, because it used to sort by ID number. So we were essentially like moving the charge rates around so they would be organized alphabetically according to like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whatever for a client. And then it's like, boom, sequence numbers. And like, crap. Like that should have been, you know, weeded out. We could have just reorganized it that way. But yeah, that's now you can do that. There's a sequence number field on the charge rate, and you can just change the order of how it shows up.
I like it. It should have been here forever. But yeah, here we go. Minor, if I could speak, minor report chart filtering UX improvements.
On report details, on the agent app and the portal, selecting a point on chart now filters the data set as before, but instead keeps you on the same screen with the chart still visible to easily select a different point. Oh, that's big. That's not minor. Before you'd click into the filter, you'd click into the filter and open the report, but you couldn't, like, you'd have to go back to the dashboard to change your filter. Now the chart stays visible, so you can just change easily what filter you're looking at.
I thought you did that before.
Click on a pie chart.
You could do that before.
No. If you click on like you can hide or show stuff on the graph, but if you're clicking on like, I don't know, let me see if I have a dashboard I can show. I don't. Let's see, dashboarding. Service task, let's say. Okay, here, share this tab. Right, so if I click on any one of these categories, it'll take me to here, but the chart is supposed to show up still to easily just be able to keep changing it. Why doesn't that not work? On report details.
I just thought it was that filter they've added, which I thought was always there.
Oh, it's on a report details, not on the dashboard.
Oh,
that's dumb.
Brilliant. Probably I've not actually built any reports in a while or dashboards.
Moving on.
Okay, fair. Moving on. If you need that thing,
now you can use client site and user custom fields as criteria for ticket list filters. So this is cool. if we go back to here, look at like our ticket list. They've actually changed the filtering screen a bit. So where now it's a different interface. This is closer to like the query builder in SQL, where you can expand and you can see the display, and you can actually like look. These are child level fields or fields from the client, including client custom fields, or like client is demanding or annoying, or we could do like user level custom fields or whatever, right? So they've changed this display significantly to match like the SQL report query builder, not the custom SQL writer, which is kind of cool.
Transparency is way better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we look at, let me just for demonstration purposes, if we go to the reporting and click new, data source, and then query builder, we can actually, no, not AI query builder, regular query builder. We can now change what the fields are. This looks very similar to what we just saw, right? Including the ability to like expand certain areas and pick specific fields out. So this is how you would build a report if you don't know SQL. You just tell what fields you want to pull in, and then you can group or aggregate or condition the query based off of these values, and so on and so forth. So that's what the new filter screen looks like compared to the old one. It's significantly improved from what the old field list used to be like, and now it includes other fields from the client side and user custom field. Yeah, it's really cool.
It's just more control, right? Is the crux of it.
Well, it used to be like in order to get that down, if you wanted to like filter tickets based off a client custom field, you'd have to create a runbook or something that would populate the custom field on the ticket level in order to filter for it.
We've had great fun with database lookups and their inconsistent nature. Like, oh my god, we lost our mind over the years with those things.
Now, Halo's doing the joins for you automatically. So you can just pick the field from the client or site or user. And so I look forward to like when they expand this to other areas beyond just lists, because imagine like a ticket rules and stuff like that. It'll make life so much easier.
Yeah. Been the biggest frustration. I remember the days when you couldn't filter like by top level anywhere, for instance, right? Remember those like when that was like, oh my god, and then that came and now it's like a staple. So yeah. I feel like I've lived through so many years of pain with Halo. So stuff like this will become standard now. And I forgot the painful days. But no, that's really cool. Added an option in an email to a specified agent when a runbook fails.
Okay.
Cool. I like that. I can get behind that. Added a notification trigger for when a user uploads a document to a specific folder.
That's neat, I guess.
If you need it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've ever had a client where I've enabled end users uploading stuff to folders.
Well, then that comes to the next one right after that.
Added access control to folders. When using document management. Oh, I just hate document management though in Halo. Like
they need to improve that module. It's still like fairly new with not a lot of love yet.
Maybe they've added some cool stuff. Let's read. No, they haven't. This must be enabled in document management module configuration. Please note, once enabled, an admin will need to set access on existing folders for agents to be able to access the folder and its contents. Wow.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Hopefully it's not something that's been heavily used by whoever's turning it on at that point.
Yeah.
That's going to be painful.
Yeah, don't waste
your time. What action an agent can take within specific folders in document management, also applicable to client site user folders as well. There's an additional option, document management module configuration, which determines whether agents can download documents with read permissions or if they require read and modify to download. So that's kind of cool too. You can let them view, but it doesn't preview the document. How are they supposed to look at it?
This is the problem. You got to just all you do is download it.
All you can do is download it anyways.
Like, horrific. I honestly hate it.
Read permission is just going to like show you the document exists.
The name.
The name of the document and maybe the size.
Show you.
Yeah. Oh man.
Don't waste your time, ladies and gents, with document management is my honest opinion right now. I'm sure it'll be great at some point in the future, but as of today,
here, this calls it out. The read permission can see folder and its contents and can download the files depending on read permission setting. Download its contents and upload new contents within the folder, and owner is all rights and the ability to modify access control on that folder. Cool.
I remember when it came out with the SharePoint link and it was like you can link your documents into Halo or something, and I was like, okay, cool, that's great. And then you can just download them. I was like, oh, okay, well, like kind of defeats the whole point, doesn't it? I don't want like 64,000 files in my downloads when I just want to view them. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from that before I get depressed. Top level field is now available.
And creating account prospect from the new opportunity screen. That's cool.
Top level's available. Hang on, what? I thought it goes into accounts and prospect. I don't think you could filter. What?
It is still a client. It's just a different type of client.
Yeah, but top level is its own folder. Oh, is it?
No, top level is up here. And so account. Well, I don't have it on. Let me turn it on. So we're talking about specifically the new section for prospect management, right down here somewhere.
I'm confused as sin because you don't.
Oh, is it under sales? It's under sales. Where is it? Where's the setting to turn it on? Use accounts and prospects for opportunities under sales, right?
Yeah.
So then if we go to the client list, we have accounts here, which is separate from clients.
Correct.
But it's saying that both accounts and clients can now go into different top levels. So if I go here and do new
accounts in top level,
you can.
You'll discover this in a second. You can't. Pick MSP and make an account. If you click the top level, it won't be in there. Kind of the whole point of having accounts and prospects.
I mean, it may not show up in the view out of the box. Like you're saying in here, if I go to level, there's accounts. What's wrong with you? That's prospect. Halo did it good. I don't know what you're complaining about. It's the one thing they did well.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably not the one thing. That's a little extreme. Sorry for anyone listening who's at Halo.
Hold on. I just looked at my build. It wasn't in there. Top level prospects.
Do you have any accounts
on the accounts tab? It's on the accounts tab. I'm picking it up. I'm just retarded. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I'm done.
It's fine. You're sick. It's fine.
I'm sick. It's the sickness. That's everyone. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I get behind it. It's good job I'm not here on my own, isn't it? All this misinformation I'll be spreading.
Customer and site level custom fields now have the option to be displayed under the customer record when logging a ticket. So this is kind of cool. You can enable the setting on show on ticket details and on new ticket screen under the custom field configuration. It will then be displayed as below on the new ticket screen down here, which is pretty down here, which is pretty nice to see. But I feel like it's been there. It has been there for a while. I forgot. We're a little behind. We're not going to hit stable before the next stable comes out, by the way.
It's out in January, isn't it? So yeah, we probably were. 1, 2, 3. No, we won't. No, which is good. Content forever.
Exactly.
We'll have to do it weekly to catch up. Yeah, it's nice. I like that. You know, more the better. It would be good if we could start to see a little bit more control in these areas, though. You know, like ordering and stuff like that. You can obviously enable by the ticket type what does or doesn't show here, but I don't think sequence. You can change the sequence of fields that appear.
Yeah, I think they just go in order, like wherever.
I think if you add them, they appear in the order it's defined. If you could start controlling the order, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because I added top level recently actually to one of these, and it was like super helpful. But yeah, no, I like it. It's cool.
Let's just take a look at the interface. If you go to custom fields, create new. No, go to client field and create new. Then on the client custom field, we can basically show on ticket details, and that's basically it. It's just a checkbox.
But it'll always be at the bottom of the list. Is the problem?
It'll be at the bottom of the native information you've selected from the user. It'll be at the bottom of that, basically.
It's the end of the world, but if there's something critical you want to catch and it's
like whether or not they're an annoying client, right? We can show on ticket details and new ticket screen.
I love how that's in this build. Relevant.
Client's annoying or client is demanding, right? Yeah. All right, moving on to
added a global SLA setting to allow user updates to reset the response target regardless of whether the ticket is on hold.
This is a bug. I don't know if it's a bug. This is a behavior that we identified for a client a long time ago that was really frustrating for them. They're looking to utilize to guarantee ongoing response with their client throughout the engagement.
Yeah. The next amount of time,
the way the workflow naturally behaves is you work on the ticket, you send an email, the ticket goes on hold. It's now an SLA hold. When the client responds back, it's supposed to reset the response target at that point. But because the ticket is on hold, the response target doesn't get reset. It just gets ignored. And so that throws off the whole workflow. And so now This is basically saying that if the user update is set to reset the response target and the ticket's on hold, it will still reset the response they were previously.
Why is that a setting?
I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't want it to behave that way. We called it a bug, and they're like, nah, it's a feature, and we don't really care to change it. And so they've basically like backburnered it for forever. And I didn't even know that this is coming. Or that it's changed. This is the first time I'm seeing this setting.
Just for people watching, SLA hold is one of the most complicated things to really manage in Halo. In essence, every ticket, Halo has a timer that is continuously running, basically. So when something's on hold on a ticket, it's really the front end that is showing you it on hold, but this timer is still ticking in the background. It is forever running. So when you're trying to do reporting on like SLAs and stuff, you'll notice it's really challenging because the timer is just infinite. And what we have is these SLA hold release, which is really editing the time, but after the fact, really. It's not holding the timer, and when they reply, it starts running. What Halo actually does is it goes, oh, it's been on hold for 6 hours, deducts 6 hours, in essence, from the time, and it's messy.
Or extends the time, the end time by that 6 hours.
Or adds time to it, exactly, yeah. But it's like afterwards, basically.
The other thing to keep in mind is that the hold will not it will not pause the response time. It's only designed to pause the resolution timer. And so the response time,
there's a setting, I think, now for that.
That's what I'm getting to. Thank you.
Sure. Sorry, I ruined it. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry.
So that out of the box, when you place a ticket on hold, like say a new ticket comes in and you're like, cool, this is to be scheduled because they asked for it to be scheduled, and you put it directly into scheduled state. If you haven't responded to the ticket yet first, then you're going to violate your SLA out of the box. And so there's a setting that you can do. And the logic behind that is basically just that every ticket deserves a response, no matter what. So like even if you are putting it on the calendar, the client should still get a notification that says, hey, we've scheduled it, and that'll be your response. Like that's the logic behind it. But if you don't like that for whatever reason, under the service level agreement settings, under general settings, there's a very oddly worded setting, which is that update the response time when a ticket is removed from SLA hold, right? Yeah, and this kind of like leans into what Connor just explained and how SLA hold works. If you know how it works, then you know what this setting does. It makes sense. But it essentially pauses the timer when it's on a response timer when it's on hold. So you can turn this on to make that happen. But the problem with it, the release notes fixing, like we said, is while the ticket's on hold, if you have the response timer reset on a user update, if the ticket's on hold, that timer will not reset because the ticket's on hold. The ticket has to come off of hold, and the user has to reply in order for that to reset. So now there's another new setting that will basically fix that called user updates reset the response target. Let's see if we can find it on this page.
And I'll just add for clarity for anybody watching, unless you're having issues where you're repeatedly missing response SLA, you don't need to tick the bottom one here. And I'll be honest with you, it's very rare we have SLAs cycling through responses. So if someone responds, it starts the timer again. Typically, we are measuring first response and resolution. This middle setting that Mendy's highlighting here is if you want almost a continuous response target, we will respond within 2 hours every time you email us back again. That's what this setting. It's unusual we see that in practice is the reality of it. I don't hate or love the idea. I'm kind of like
very demanding on the MSP, and it's usually not reasonable. But if you're doing that, you want to come in here and uncheck. Uncheck this setting. So just to be aware of, I didn't realize until I read it, this is not the setting that the release note is talking about. It's a completely different wording than what's in the release note. But it is the same exact setting. You want to come in here and uncheck this, which is on by default, because that was the natural behavior. So unchecking that will actually give us the setting that we're looking for, which the release note calls out as essentially to allow user updates to reset the response target, regardless whether the ticket's on hold. Right? So it's completely different wording, just keeping that in mind. Yeah, we love that.
You don't need to worry about it for the most part, though, so don't get too concerned.
How do the ability to restrict the allowed relationship types when relating assets? That's cool. Right?
More stuff to do with assets.
So you're basically going to say, like, a workstation can only be linked to a keyboard through a connected to relationship, or a computer can only be linked to a person through like a user relationship or something like that, as opposed to like saying the keyboard is the user of the computer, like, which doesn't make sense.
If you have that problem, then there's a setting for it.
It's a cool. If you're using asset management in Halo heavily, then this is a crucial thing. If you're to heavily use asset management in Halo and tie relationships together, then I can see how you'd get like very obviously frustrated by saying like, why would I ever want to use that relationship type between these two asset types? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right. So now you can
keyboard will never link to a firewall. Actually, it might do. To be fair, I don't know. You have to really think about the edge cases. That's a great.
Let's move on
from the keyboard to be a firewall. Jesus, I did it all
Oh,
with my mouse. I'm insane. What do we got next?
This is cool.
Is it though? How often do you need to import SLAs? And if you do, use a spreadsheet. Like how many SLAs are you building, bro?
I would caution you with saying like ideally you have one SLA for your entire company, or 2 or 3, but not more than that.
Yeah.
And that's your standard. But there are scenarios where poor people, and I don't really mean poor, I just mean like people who have gotten themselves into situations that are not great.
People with no money.
I don't mean that. I mean people who are in situations with their clients and where they've essentially agreed to different SLAs per client. And so you could have a scenario where you need to bring in a large number of SLAs and or priorities. And the fact that you can via spreadsheet import is cool. That's all I'm saying.
I've never seen this problem ever. I've done this for years. I've never
I've had to walk people away from trying to do this.
Yeah. Which is good. You've helped them.
Yeah.
Now you've got options. Now you could be like, well,
now I could be like, well, yeah, we could have done that. Sure.
Carry on as you were. Nice, love it. Added. Why is it all about assets? I just don't care. Added asset and service business. Let me get my head in this one. Added asset and service business and technical owners of notification recipients.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. I don't mind it so much.
All right, sweet. Moving on. Pretty straightforward. Okay. How about we added
actually? So just on that one, super quick, just for the recording benefits, I'll transcript then, and it's how I learn. You could basically say that I don't know. Mendy is head of infrastructure, therefore he has ownership over firewalls and servers. If we have an issue with that firewall or server, email Mendy and let him know. I don't have a massive use case for this, but we are starting to do some work with quite a few MSPs now on like SOC and NOC services where they have specific key stakeholders for this. We've actually ended up having to build a custom runbook around it because of limitations, but this might have actually solved that problem.
It would be better if we could associate, like on the asset type level, if we could associate a user role to be the business owner. And so people who have that role, because it's too, otherwise you'd have to go through, like you import 1,000 assets or 100 assets from one client, you'd have to go and define the owners of those assets, right? How are you doing that manually? So that would be cool if we could do it that way. But either way,
painfully is reality, right?
Exactly.
Improvements to Jira integration.
We're almost done with this. This is a huge one. This 204 is big. Actions can now be synced to Jira as the agent performing the action. That's kind of cool. Do you ever use the Jira software integration? Do you ever touch Jira really ever?
Once, I think.
We've had a couple of clients ask us for it. Yeah, we've had a couple of clients ask for it, but then whenever we're like, sure, let's get it going and get it set up, they've always like walked it back. Like, never mind. They must have like worked.
Yeah, we had that I think as well. I think it was co-managed, but I think from when we tested it, it was pretty solid anyway. If I'm being honest.
So you can choose like which agent is which user, which is cool. And so then it basically logs the action as that person.
Oh, okay, nice. Don't need it, but I don't hate it. If
mentions in Jira comments can now be turned into Halo mentions. That's cool. So based off of that pairing, I'm assuming replace Jira mentions Halo mentions, but not send. And so that way, when someone mentions you in Jira, it'll just swap you out and mention you inside of Halo instead.
I didn't know it was
agent Halo is not found based on Jira. Can Halo retrieve all the unmatched users from Jira and attempt to match them to Halo agents based on email address? What the heck?
I'd probably say then that Jira probably is, or it has to be still like the best non-Halo integration in terms of service desk for like a co-managed perspective. Because I don't think the ServiceNow integration is very fleshed out from what I understand. Business Central is not really related. I don't know.
We actually have a client who's using ServiceNow integration. We're actually working with them to flesh it out a bit. So we'll see what that looks like when we're done with hard.
I think Jira is pretty solid though. It was when we tested it probably a year or so ago now. So yeah, it's exciting to see more stuff coming to it. Yeah, nice.
Unapproved holidays now show with a dotted border.
Yes.
Cool.
UX, baby.
You can now save emails from mail campaigns as email templates.
I couldn't care less.
I use them.
You would. You like.
We use mail campaigns heavily in MSP Geek. Actually, that's how we manage like MSP Geek stuff.
I bought MailChimp. It's $20 a month, and it's so much easier to use.
I don't really have a problem.
I think if you're doing static emails, it's great. I think the problem is with anything in Halo, as soon as you want to do any mail campaigns with that look nice, you're in HTML world again and deliverability issues, and you end up spending way too much time trying to curate something that's nice, right? So like newsletters, all of that just doesn't work with mail campaigns, which is the allure of it, right?
The mail campaign actually ties in and integrates with MailChimp if you want to send the actual email. You could do that, but the key for the mail campaigns is that we use dynamic distribution lists in Halo, and so like our management of like who gets the email, who we're targeting is completely dynamic at that point.
We have a report that we send to MailChimp. Basically, we automate a report of dynamic people. So we solve probably a similar problem. It's just a whole I don't do it. The person in my team that does all that stuff doesn't have HTML skills, so MailChimp wins. But at some point it'll come. I don't disbelieve it. So yeah, the fact you can now do it is a step in the right direction.
This is also a big one I've been pushing for.
What are we talking about, honey? Prepaid
balance type can now be set per contract. And so you can previously, if you had a prepay contract and you wanted to use amount, like amount of pounds or dollars instead of by hours, you'd have to do it client level. You'd have to change the entire client to be, this is a bill by amount. Now you can do it per contract. So you can have a mix. Some prepay would be by hours, some would be by amount based off the contract. Now there are some bugs that we've run into with this that we've logged with Halo. So don't be surprised when you see that certain things not working. But like for example, if you try to invoice an amount using this, Halo doesn't properly realize that there's no hours, and it tries to invoice a zero quantity, which fails. So you have to turn on prepay by amount by the whole client level, and then it works. So that's one bug. But that's been reported and will be fixed soon. But it's a pretty nice feature. We can now have like flexibility and control over which prepay contract is what type, as opposed to the whole client level. It's good.
The idea, by the way, just because I don't think amounts used a lot, is you can have a contract with a bucket of money, which you draw down from based on charge rate, or a bucket of time. We see the money less and less these days. Actually, it's mainly time driven these days. But yeah, if you wanted to have $10,000 in a pot, which depending on the level of work you do draws down from it, you would use amount. So the fact you can control it now per contract is nice, because you typically see it per project related work anyway. So you can have some time driven, some amount driven project work, which yeah, I like that. That's cool. You can now
do the amount of hours. We're almost like insane. It's pretty scary.
I know. Weird, bro.
So far on the billing tab of a ticket. Okay, cool.
I mean, I'm a big believer of invoicing close tickets, so not the biggest thing. But if it reopens, I guess you can see it. But yeah, I don't know. Someone needed it. So added a separate permission for impersonating users. Finally. That's really good. We get this requested all the time. Can my staff impersonate them? No, they can't. No. What do they need? Admin. Brilliant. So yeah, the fact you can do this now is cool. It'd be at a role level for anyone wondering. Or agent permission just allows your staff to impersonate them so they can see what they can see on the portal.
Next one's cool too.
Added option to select different email templates when sending out invoices. New option in configuration billing invoice creation to allow the section of email templates to send out invoices. Enable this will create email templates for
invoices specifically. This is one of my feature requests, which is why I said it's cool. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased.
I'm confused by it. What is it telling me? That when I click send an invoice, it will let me set a template?
Correct.
Why do you need that? I always set my templates at... No, invoice, email template. Yeah, I don't know. Why is that a thing?
Email template, because if you want to send a different email for some reason. So this is before the email reminder existed.
Okay.
Before the invoice email reminder existed, number one. The other thing is, like, what if you void the invoice and you want to send a copy of that void invoice to the client? You don't want to send them an email that says, like, here's your invoice, you owe us X amount, like the normal template. You want to send a different template of like, here's your voided invoice as we discussed. Keep this for your records. And so now
I'm assuming there's not a voided invoice template that links to the voided invoice area. No, that'd be too. Okay, fine. Moving on. Let's ask no questions here, no lies. Creating a purchase
do
order.
like multiple different templates and just choose when you hit send which one you want to use.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Totally
See,
fine.
my whole belief is like build of intention. So like the fact you now have to remember to select for me is actually scary. I don't particularly thrive on
It's
that.
just it'll take the default. If you just through, right? So that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to get in the way of existing functionality. I'm going to scroll up and try to move that above. There, look at that. I did it.
Create a purchase order from a sales order line will now set the sales order line supplier field, and updating the purchase order line price will update the sales order line cost.
Well, that's
I've
nice.
just made a bunch of words there that didn't go in the brain. I just kind of just words. What is that saying? Let's break this down.
When you create a PO off a sales order,
right,
the line that you created it from will now set the supplier for that line on the sales order based off the PO you've created. And so if your product is normally from Amazon, but your PO is for, Ingram, it's going to change the supplier on that line item to be Ingram.
I didn't even know there was a line item with supplier on it. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, there's a supplier field on the line item itself.
On the sales order, isn't there?
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Furthermore, if the price changes on the PO because you're negotiating with the vendor and the PO price line changes, then that cost on that same line item from the sales order will update to reflect the cost from the PO.
Nice. Which
so,
is weird, but yeah, yes, I get it.
That's how it reads.
Fair.
It's cool.
There's a vendor field. Never noticed before.
I think it makes sense. I think it's good. And we just completed 204. We've got 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left. Can we do like the next? We can run through the next version, right?
Oh, come on. Connor's sick.
Why don't we ask for questions for 5 minutes from the audience of the people watching who want to get into our domes for 4 minutes? And then we can start next time with
2.206.
Is it 06? Is there no 05?
No, there's no 05. Okay. If there was an 05, we could have done 2.205 in the 5 minutes we had.
We could have done. Has anyone got any questions, though? I do see stuff in the chat, but that's just us updating. Any questions to anyone?
There's been no questions.
If not, we can put a little bit of jazz on and we can all get 5 minutes back in our day and chill out and unwind.
I feel like that's what you need to rest and recover. Respect your health.
Right.
Give it back to 5 minutes.
A free 5 minutes. What we are doing, by the way, is we built an automation at Renada, which we'll be sharing with Rising Tide as well. There's a lot of things that we chat about on these by the Runbooks that end up just drifting to the side and we never go revisit it again. And there's certainly stuff that was annoying me where I'm like, I said I was going to look at that thing and never don't. So what we've done now, I won't show it because it'll nerd you all out, but what we've built is we automatically pull the transcriptions now from every time we do one of these by the Runbooks. Everything we talk about, where I go and Mendy goes, oh, we should look at that. Maybe not Mendy because it'd be too much boring stuff, but all the cool stuff I say we should go look at and do makes a ticket in our Halo now, and we have a development area. So we'll now have videos coming out on our YouTube. We'll share it with Mendy and the team as well. So here's all stuff we were going to talk about, and like basically ask the question internally, who wants to talk about it? That way we are fulfilling our duties on things we say we're going to do. So yeah, I'm quite excited by that. I didn't build any of it. That was Jacob and the team. So hats off to those guys. But yeah, we've got a whole YouTube area in our Halo now where we pull all the comments and we use it for like video ideas, and it's totally just over-engineered because why wouldn't we do that? But yeah, super fun. So yeah, we'll get some content out in the new year around some of the things we were going to speak about that we're interested by, and we'll go from there.
We do have one question here. Yeah. Oh, yes. I've just seen Rising Tide videos on importing knowledge base articles from Hoodoo to HaloPSA. Can you do it the other way around?
Mendy, where's Hoodoo at with that integration? Do you know? I've not spoken to them about it recently. They're building this
Hoodoo's working on building a native integration that does something similar, but not exactly. So Hoodoo's native integration to Halo will essentially take all publicly available knowledge bases and then sync them into Halo. So that's not the full thing that we like. What we did on the video is we took all of the knowledge base articles from Hoodoo, and brought them into Halo. But what you're describing is, and the question is like the reverse. I mean, Halo's entire interface is just a big wrap around the API. So you can just pull a list of all your knowledge base records or knowledge base articles in Halo, and then find the relevant client using the matchers API in Hoodoo, and then post knowledge base articles from Halo into Hoodoo directly. So if you're looking at like you've been using Halo and you want to migrate to Hoodoo, like that's a very easy process to do, as long as your Hoodoo's been linked and matched to all your clients in Halo.
The hardest thing with it is that's where we built this automation as well, then stopped, is it's a bit easier now, I say, is with styling. It's one thing you didn't fully go into. We built a lot of documents with call outs and tables and code blocks and did all this stuff to get to replicate the aesthetics was not impossible, but was an utter nightmare to do. Now, what Halo do have now is the CSS templates you can apply. So you can grab the CSS from Hoodoo, apply the template, which saves a lot of the work we did to make it really cool. Again, Halo's capacity to build out good-looking documents is really limited. So getting them in Hoodoo actually is 10 times easier typically than it is getting them from Hoodoo because of the
back into Halo.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it should be fairly simple to do that.
Bringing Halo into Hoodoo into Halo was primarily because we wanted the AI indexing of those knowledge base articles, so that when you're working on a ticket, Halo's like, oh, here's an article that's related to it, and you'd open it up, and the very first thing you see is a link directly to Hoodoo, and then you just open up the Hoodoo article from there. So that's the reason we did it that way. But absolutely, like, I didn't care about styling. I didn't care about images. I wanted the content specifically for the embeddings, the vectorization of the content with the AI engine.
Hoodoo is though embedding their articles now with their new AI bot. So I wonder if we could use semantic searching with their embedding.
They are working on adding some AI stuff into it, but it's still not being surfaced to the ticket from the ticket. Right. That's the key, is that the Halo's native features would bring that article up automatically based off the AI. So
yeah, nice.
One day at a time.
One day
Iterate
at a time.
over and over. That's the key. But yeah, short answer to the question from Plastic Printer 1. Plastic Printer 1, wow. Is the yes, you can get your articles from Halo into Hoodoo very easily.
Very good. Well, we are at the top of the hour.
For you, Al. You've got your first question, Al.
I got my first.
What's the cat's name?
Oh, this is Stevie. Hey, Stevie. You want to say hi to your fans? She's a little mutt. Short for Steven Universe.
Should I know who that is?
It's a cartoon character.
So yes, maybe.
Cartoon?
I mean, in my opinion, yes. But
and on that bombshell of me insulting everyone.
Oh man, yeah, highly recommended. I think your kiddos will like it. So it's a very good series.
Is it from this decade?
What decade are we in? No, yeah. Robbie comments.
We are at the hour.
Robbie commented that you're uncultured, Connor, but it's okay. Robbie.
All I know is Halo. Come on, that's all I know now. My brain is jelly.
Well, so speaking of Halo, our next By the Runbook is December 9th. For our US friends who are celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving this week. We'll see everyone on Tuesday, December 9th for 2.206.
That's where we pick up.
All right, kiddos. Thank you so much, Connor and Mendy. We'll talk to everyone later.
Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Goodbye.